you've been feeling the call to write a book, it is no accident. Your book is needed in the world, so let's make it happen. I'm Nicola Humber, and this is the Unbound Writers Club. Hello and welcome to the Unbound Writers Club. Nicola here, and today we have a very special guest, Jackie Reeves, who is author of one of our latest releases at the Unbound Press, Chaos to Calm, How to Reset Your Life and Manifest Your Dreams. Yes, please, to that. On the back of the book, Jackie says, this is a raw, transformative journey for the women who have been hiding in plain sight. She asks the questions: have you ever felt like you're living someone else's life? Invisible, unheard, fading into the background of your own story. Inside these pages, I will share my personal journey, and you will discover how to transform years of silence into a roar. Yes, yes, yes. Right up our street at the Unbound Press, as you will know. So I am so excited that Jackie decided to work with us at the Unbound Press to complete the process of writing her book and to birth it into the world. Yeah, it's just so great to have her as part of the Unbound Press family of authors. During this conversation, we talk more about how Jackie felt called to write this book and how she got started, the process she used to bring her book through, and how she feels now that Chaos to Calm is out in the world. So I know you're going to love this one. I'm really looking forward to introducing you to Jackie. So let's do that. So, Jackie, welcome to the Unbound Writers Club.
Thank you, Nicola. Thank you.
Really excited for us to have this conversation. Like, I remember when we first connected, and quite often when I'm first connecting with authors, I'm like, oh, I can't wait for our podcast conversation. And I remember thinking that with you. So the question I'm going to ask first, and I usually ask this one, is what makes you, in particular, an unbound writer? Like, are there any old beliefs or stories you had to unbind from, or is there something that in particular that you're doing differently? What makes you unbound?
Unbound was allowing me to be myself, to believe in myself, and to not doubt myself, and to realize that I was actually capable of putting pen to paper and bringing this book into the world, which I wanted to do for a long time and struggled to find a forum where I could go that would support me in what I wanted to do and what I believed in. And I found you. And there it goes. The story unfolded into a book.
The rest is history.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned that this book, the idea for the book was there for a long time. How did you get started with it, Jackie? Because a lot of people have an idea to write a book, or other people say to them, oh my goodness, you should write a book, but not many people actually do it. So how did you begin?
Oh, wow. Well, I began because I was on my own. I had space at the time. I had space to just reflect on my life. My partner was away and having a major operation, so I had that time to think about life and what it would be like if he wasn't there. And I meditate quite frequently on a daily basis. And in that space came write a book. Spend your time and write a book. And it was like, well, what would I write about? I've never wrote a book in my life. But it was persistent and it kept saying, write a book, write a book, write a book. So one day I sat down and I followed that intuition and put pen to paper and started to look back at my life. And it started with one paragraph, one page, and it started to flow so easily that it all became a chapter. And that was the first chapter that then spurred me on to do more.
Amazing. Amazing.
Mm.
I love that so much. And have you always been a writer, Jackie? Have you always been somebody who, would write for yourself or, to share? Was that something that came naturally to you?
Oh, definitely. Throughout my journey of being in different careers, I've always journaled. So
Mhm.
it's something about putting pen to paper because I don't use computers. So putting pen to paper, that energy flows.
Mm.
And it's a connection of energy that is so free flowing that when I look back in my journals that I keep, many, many journals, and I see how my journey's unfolded because of what's come out of the downloads that I've just started to write, and it just flows.
Yeah.
So it's such an enjoyable way of journaling as well. So I journal a lot, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you were writing the book,
Mhm.
did that kind of flow? I mean, it sounds like the first chapter definitely did, just kind of came. Did that
Mhm.
continue for the rest of the book? Did it flow quite easily for you, or were there times when it felt more challenging?
Yes, there was times where I'd stop
Mm,
and I'd be overwhelmed and I'd be confused and is this going anywhere? Is this going to be worth the time I'm putting in it?
yeah.
Let's put it to the side. Let's leave it for a couple of months.
Mm,
And then there's that niggle inside of go back and write that book,
yeah.
go back and write that book. And it's like something's missing,
Yeah.
like that piece of the jigsaw is missing if it's not completed. So then I'd go back with fresh eyes and change some stuff. But then I'd also have new ideas of what I'd wrote and change that. But it flowed better because
Mm,
of the break.
yes. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that because I feel like sometimes people have this expectation that they'll make the decision to write their book and they should just keep writing like every day or regularly until it's complete. And actually, taking a break can be one of the most powerful things we can do because then we come back fresh. I'm curious to know because, as you've mentioned, you were writing about your own story and sharing a lot of the experiences you've had through your life, some of which have been incredibly challenging. And what was it like to go back and revisit those and know that you were writing for a book that was going to be read by other people? Because I know this is something that can come up for a lot of aspiring authors. What was that like for you?
Oh, wow. It was challenging. It was very healing that I look back and realised how resilient I'd become over the challenges that I'd gone through. But also, it gave me more of a push to get this book out into the world for people like me who have gone through similar experiences to actually resonate with
Mm,
what I wanted to say. And maybe it can help somebody else
yeah, yeah,
along that path to
yeah,
go, it is possible because I'm stuck right now, but this could be the key to unlock
yeah.
that.
I love that. I love that. Yeah,
Mhm.
using that as the kind of fuel that keeps you going. It's like, okay, this feels edgy for me to do. It feels vulnerable, but like you trust it's going to be supportive to so many other people. So
Mm.
thank you. Thank you for doing that, Jackie.
No
Uh,
problem.
Were there any particular fears or doubts that came up during the writing process, or actually during the publishing process? Because that's like a whole other piece as well.
It just seems such a big task to sort of like get this book out into the world and never doing it before. It was like, wow, this is a mountain. I don't know what next step to take.
Hmm.
But working with Unbound, it made it so easy to do that it wasn't overwhelming
Hmm.
because sometimes if it gets too overwhelming, I take a step back into my old pattern of I can't do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So breaking it down step by step is exactly how I work with clients. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, let's unpack it. Let's take it one step at a time.
Mm.
And that's exactly what Unbound did with getting this book out there.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, it sounds like you did that through the writing process, right from that first chapter. It's like, I'm just going to sit down and like write the first paragraph, then, just carry on from there. That became a chapter. And then obviously, each of the other chapters. So, yeah, taking it piece by piece
Mm-hmm.
is a really powerful thing to do. Was there anything else that came up for you? I know sometimes there can be some kind of fear around, like, who am I to do this? Will anyone want to read my book? Like, all of this stuff that can come up for so many of us. Were there any kind of thoughts or stories that came up like that for you?
Yes, there was definitely stories about being judged by my immediate family.
Hmm.
To this day, I haven't told them about the book. And, they'll probably see it on social media, but if they want to read it, they have to buy it.
Yeah, you're not making it easy for them.
Because this is my story and it's my perception of my life and it's
Mm,
nobody else's story. So sometimes families can be different and challenging.
mm.
They can be worse critics.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How did you like move through that fear as it was coming up, like during the writing process? What did you kind of like decide for yourself to help you move through that fear?
That it was my story that I wanted to share, but again, I'd take a break,
Yeah.
reflect, go for a walk, and it had all seemed to make sense to me of why I was on that journey and why I'm on this path.
Hmm.
And after a couple of days of just doing the tools that I use, helped me
Yeah.
to process that in a way that was okay. It's okay.
Mm. Yeah. I love it. I love it. So
Mm-hmm.
powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you feel now that Chaos to Calm is out in the world? Because, like, it's been out for a couple of weeks now. We were both like, we're sitting here, we've got our copies in our hands. We were
Yeah.
taking a picture before, which was a bit tricky for me to kind of figure out. But how do you feel now that your book is making its way into the world?
Oh, excited for its journey.
Hmm.
And also, like, what do I do now?
Mm, yeah,
And yes, people will get to know me. And that was my mission was I want that book out into the world so that it's people getting to know where I've come from, and when people work from with me, they know my background
mm, yeah.
and how I can support them.
Yeah.
I suppose it's my calling card.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, it's interesting. People often talk about books like as a business card, and it's like, yeah, but there's so much more than that because
Mm-hmm.
when somebody reads your book, they're going to get
Mm-hmm.
to know you and like your
Mm-hmm.
energy and like the way you approach life so well. It's like creates a really deep connection. So I
Yes.
love that you have this incredible book now that gets to go out there and create relationships with all of these different people.
Yeah.
You can then choose to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
For those listening, Jackie, who, maybe there's somebody listening who's just thinking about writing a book and, it's a similar place to the one you were, at the beginning of your journey. What one piece of advice would you give to somebody who was just starting out?
Just start.
Yeah.
Just put pen to paper. There's something about pen to paper
Mm,
for me personally, and I'm sure it is for a lot of people. Even if you do end up typing it out, which you probably will,
yeah.
but pen to paper is such a powerful way. That's why journaling is so powerful
Hmm.
because it's the brain and the coordination of what we've been trained in from childhood to do.
Yeah.
You know, most of us. I
Yeah.
don't know what the kids do today, but
Mm.
most of us have always used that coordination of that skill of writing.
Yeah.
And that opens up that connection to the higher self, I believe.
100%. I'm with you on that. At the beginning of a book writing process, I always write by hand, like
Mhm.
until quite late on in the
Mhm.
process, and then you have to
Yeah.
start typing it up. But yeah, I think there's something that happens. It kind of opens us up to receive what wants to come through as soon as like pen comes to page. So that's
It's that creative magic. It's like drawing a picture. You have to draw it freehand before you can put it on a canvas, and it's exactly the same with your masterpiece of writing.
yeah,
It's got
exactly.
to go on that paper
To-
before it goes anywhere else.
totally with you on that. So, what's next for you, Jackie, now that the book is completed?
Oh, well, I'm still taking it in.
Yeah, good.
I'm still giving myself some space and some time to look at, okay, where am I going with this? I'm creating a course out of the tools in the back of the book. I've done a journal. I've got, cups made out of it, so you can have a cup of tea with your chaos to calm book.
I love
A
it.
nice cup of tea.
I love
Sip
that.
away, your favourite drink. So I've been creative in that way, because once you start being creative with like writing a book, it stimulates your creativity in many different ways. And I've probably got lots going on, and it's like, okay, let's just focus on one at a time. But let's appreciate the book first. Let's, take it in and take a step back. But there is another book in me, I'm sure.
I have no doubt about that, Jackie. It's very rare that there's just one. So excited about that. But like you say, it's really important to savor the process and like let yourself like really kind of be with the release of this first
Mhm.
one. And I love like the pieces that you've talked about that it's kind of growing into. I often say the book is just the beginning and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
what does it want to become? So very excited about that. For those listening who would like to connect with you, find out more about what you do, Jackie, and like keep in touch, what is the best way for them to do that?
Well, I'm on social media.
Hmm.
So we've got Jackie Reeves and soulpathfindercoach.co.uk, and you can email me at jackie@allo.soulpathfindercoach.co.uk, and you'll find me on Instagram at
Yeah.
soulpathfindercoach.com.
Amazing. We'll make sure all of those links are in the show
Yeah,
notes to make it
thank
easy
you.
for people to connect with you. Jackie, thank you so much for being in the Unbound Writers Club and also, for following that call to write your book, to birth Chaos to Calm into the world. It's such a beautiful book. And I'm just really delighted that you're part of the Unbound Press family of authors.
So am I. I'm glad I found you. Thank you.
Me too. Me too.